Ethan Cole's hands were frozen to the reins when he saw her. A woman curled in the snow beside an overturned stagecoach, her lips blue, her belly round with child. His 3-year-old daughter pressed against his chest, whispered one word she hadn't spoken in a year. "Mama." His heart shattered. This wasn't his wife. Clara was dead. But this woman would be too if he rode past. He dismounted his boots crunching through ice and lifted her into his arms. She weighed nothing. He wrapped her in his coat and made a choice that would destroy everything he'd built or save him. Before we begin, if you love stories of second chances and courage in the face of impossible odds, subscribe to this channel and stay until the end. Comment below with your city so I can see how far this story travels. Now let's begin. Ethan Cole had learned to ignore his instincts. Instincts got men killed out here. Instincts made you stop for strangers, and strangers brought trouble. But when his daughter Lily pointed at the wreckage and said, "Mama," every rule he'd lived by for 3 years crumbled. "Not Mama, baby," he said, his voice rough. "Mama's gone." But Lily didn't look away. Her small finger stayed pointed at the woman half buried in snow. Ethan pulled the wagon to a stop. The wind screamed across the Wyoming plains, cutting through leather and wool like a blade. November 1876 and winter had come early, brutal and unforgiving. He could barely see 10 feet ahead through the curtain of snow. The stagecoach lay on its side, one wheel spinning slowly in the wind. Luggage scattered across the frozen ground. Horses gone. Driver gone. Just one passenger left behind. A woman. Ethan climbed down his boots, breaking through the ice crust. Every step closer, his chest tightened. She wore a torn traveling dress, no coat, no gloves. Her dark hair was matted with snow and blood. And her belly, God, she was pregnant. 5, maybe 6 months along. He knelt, pressed 2 fingers to her throat. A pulse, faint but there. "Ma'am," he said. Nothing. He shook her shoulder gently. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" Her eyelids fluttered but didn't open. Ethan looked back at his wagon, at Lily watching with those 2 old eyes. The ranch was 8 miles north, the nearest town 12 miles south. If he left this woman here, she'd be dead within the hour. "Damn it," he muttered. He slid his arms beneath her, lifted her from the snow. She was light, too light for a woman carrying a child. Her head lolled against his chest. He felt the wrongness in her right arm, the way it bent at an unnatural angle near the wrist. Broken. And not recently. He carried her to the wagon, laid her in the back beside Lily. His daughter scooted closer, her small hand reaching out to touch the woman's face. "Cold," Lily whispered. "I know, baby. We're gonna get her warm." Ethan stripped off his coat, wrapped it around the woman, grabbed every blanket from beneath the seat and piled them on top of her. Then he climbed back up front, snapped the reins, and drove into the storm. The ride home took an hour. Felt like 10. Every few minutes, Ethan glanced back. The woman didn't move. Lily sat beside her, humming the lullaby Clara used to sing. That damn song that still made Ethan's throat close. When they finally reached the ranch, Sam Gray Wolf was waiting on the porch, rifle in hand. The half-Cheyenne ranch hand lowered the weapon when he recognized Ethan's wagon. "Trouble," Sam called. "Found her by the old stage road," Ethan said, pulling the wagon to a stop. "She's alive. Barely." Sam moved fast. Together they carried the woman inside, laid her on Ethan's bed, the only real bed in the cabin. Sam lit the fire while Ethan peeled away the frozen blankets. "Jesus," Sam said quietly. Ethan saw it too. Bruises. Old ones, faded yellow and green, covered her arms. Fresh ones, dark purple, circled her throat like a necklace. And her wrist, the broken one, had been set wrong. The bones had healed crooked, leaving a permanent bend. "Who did this?" Ethan's voice came out flat, dangerous. "Someone who'll come looking," Sam said. The woman's eyes snapped open. Wild. Terrified. She gasped and scrambled backward, slamming into the headboard. "Don't touch me!" Her voice was raw, broken. Ethan raised his hands, stepped back. "You're safe. I found you in the snow. Brought you here." She looked around frantically. At the cabin. At Sam. At Lily standing in the doorway holding her doll. The woman's breath came in ragged bursts. "Where am I?" "My ranch. 8 miles north of the stage road." "I need to leave." "You can't even stand." "I don't care." She tried to swing her legs off the bed. Her face went white, and she collapsed back against the pillows, gasping. Ethan moved closer slowly. "You're hurt. Your wrist is broken, you're half frozen, and you're—" He stopped. "Pregnant." She finished, her hand moving instinctively to her belly. "I know." "Then you know you can't go anywhere. Not tonight. Storm's getting worse." She stared at him, searching his face for something. Lies, maybe. Cruelty. Ethan didn't know what she'd find there. He barely recognized himself these days. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Beth." It was a lie. He could see it in the way her eyes shifted. But he didn't push. "I'm Ethan Cole. This is Sam Gray Wolf. And that's my daughter Lily." The little girl stepped forward, holding out a tin cup. "I made tea." The woman. Beth looked at Lily for a long moment. Something in her face softened. She took the cup with her good hand, the left one. Her right arm hung useless at her side. "Thank you," she whispered. Lily didn't leave. She climbed onto the bed, sat cross-legged beside the woman. "You were sleeping in the snow." "I was." "Mama used to say angels sleep in the snow." Beth's eyes filled. "I'm not an angel, sweetheart. Papa says angels don't have broken wings, but you do, so maybe you're just learning to fly." Ethan's chest tightened. Lily hadn't spoken this much in months, not since Clara died. "Let me look at that wrist," Sam said, moving closer. Beth pulled back. "I'm fine." "You're not fine. It's infected." "I said I'm fine." "Lady, I've set more broken bones than the army surgeons at Fort Laramie. Let me look, or that arm's gonna kill you before anything else does." She met Sam's eyes. He didn't blink, didn't look away. Finally, she extended her arm. Sam examined it carefully, his dark eyes narrowing. This was broken twice. First time maybe 2 months ago. Healed wrong. Someone broke it again recently, tried to reset it. Did a shit job. "It doesn't matter," Beth said. "It will when gangrene sets in." Ethan stepped forward. "Can you fix it?" "I can re-break it, set it properly, but it's gonna hurt like hell." Beth laughed, a broken sound. "Everything already hurts. I'll need whiskey, clean cloth, and something for her to bite down on." Ethan moved to the cabinet, pulled out a bottle and medical supplies. Clara had kept the cabin well stocked. She'd been a teacher, not a doctor, but out here everyone learned medicine whether they wanted to or not. Sam took the bottle, poured whiskey over his hands, over the knife he pulled from his belt. "Drink some," he told Beth. She took the bottle, drank deep without flinching. "More," Sam said. She drank again. Ethan handed her a leather strap. "Bite down on this." She looked at him, and for a second he saw past the fear. Saw someone exhausted. Someone who'd been running for so long she'd forgotten what it felt like to stop. She bit down on the leather. Sam worked fast. The sound of bone cracking made Ethan's stomach turn. Beth's scream was muffled by the strap, but her whole body went rigid. Lily buried her face in Ethan's leg. "Almost done." Sam said, his voice steady. He aligned the bones, wrapped the arm in splints, and clean cloth secured it tight. "There. Give it 6 weeks. Don't use it." Beth spat out the leather, gasping. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't make another sound. Sam handed her the whiskey. She drank. "You should rest," Ethan said. "I'll leave in the morning." "Storm's supposed to last 3 days." "Then I'll leave in 3 days." "And go where?" She didn't answer. Ethan looked at Sam. The ranch hand's face was unreadable, but his eyes said enough. This woman was running from something, and whatever it was bad enough to leave her for dead in a blizzard. "You can stay here," Ethan heard himself say. "Long as you need." "I don't need charity." "Good. I don't have any to give. You want to stay, you work. Cook, clean, help with Lily. Fair trade." She stared at him. "Why would you do that?" "Because my daughter hasn't spoken more than 10 words in a year, and she just had a whole conversation with you. That's worth something." Beth looked at Lily, who was watching her with those wide, trusting eyes. 3 days, Beth said finally. 3 days, Ethan agreed. But they both knew it was a lie. That night, Beth slept in Ethan's bed. He took the floor. Sam returned to the bunkhouse. Lily refused to leave Beth's side, curling up with her doll at the foot of the bed. Ethan lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The fire crackled. Outside, the wind howled. And for the first time in 3 years, his cabin felt full. He thought about Clara. About the night she died screaming in pain while the midwife shook her head. About holding their newborn daughter so small and red-faced and furious at the world. About Clara's last words, "Don't let her grow up alone." He'd failed. He'd locked himself and Lily away, buried in grief, afraid to let anyone close because losing Clara had nearly killed him. But this stranger, this broken pregnant woman, with lies in her eyes and bruises on her throat, she'd gotten Lily to speak, to smile. In one afternoon, she'd done what Ethan couldn't do in a year. He didn't know her name, didn't know her story. But he knew this: she was running from someone who'd hurt her. And whoever that was, they'd have to go through Ethan to get her. He just hoped he was strong enough to keep that promise. Morning came gray and cold. The storm hadn't broken. If anything, the wind had gotten worse. Ethan woke to the smell of coffee. He sat up confused. Sam never made coffee. Sam drank it black and bitter, straight from the pot. Beth stood at the stove, one-handed, stirring a pot. She'd changed into one of Clara's old dresses. Ethan must have left them in the trunk. The dress hung loose on her frame, but it was clean and dry. "You shouldn't be up," Ethan said. "I made a deal. Work for room and board. Your arm. Still attached. I can manage." He stood, walked over. She'd made eggs, biscuits, coffee. The kind of breakfast Clara used to make. "Where'd you learn to cook one-handed?" "Practice." Her voice was flat. Ethan didn't push. Lily appeared from the bedroom, rubbing her eyes. She climbed onto a chair and Beth set a plate in front of her. The girl ate without complaint, humming that damn lullaby. "She always hum like that?" Beth asked. "Since her mother died. Doesn't talk much otherwise." Beth looked at him, really looked at him. "How long?" 3 years. Childbirth." "I'm sorry." Ethan poured coffee, didn't answer. Sorry didn't bring Clara back. Sorry didn't fill the hole in his chest. They ate in silence. The food was good. Better than good. Beth didn't eat much, just pushed eggs around her plate, but she made sure Lily finished everything. "Storm's not breaking today," Ethan said finally. "I noticed." "Which means you're stuck here." "I don't get stuck. I keep moving." "Even pregnant. Even with a broken arm." She set down her fork. "Especially then." Ethan wanted to ask why. Wanted to demand the truth. But he saw the fear in her eyes, the way her good hand trembled when she thought no one was looking. "You got a husband?" he asked instead. Her face went carefully blank. "I'm a widow." Another lie. He could see the pale mark on her ring finger where a band had been, recently removed. "Kids besides the one you're carrying?" "No." "Family?" "No." "Friends?" "No." Ethan leaned back. "So you're telling me you're alone, pregnant, broke your arm twice, and ended up unconscious in a snowstorm, and I'm just supposed to believe that's bad luck? Believe what you want. I want to believe you're safe here, But I can't do that if I don't know who I'm protecting you from. I didn't ask you to protect me. No. But I'm gonna do it anyway. She laughed bitter and sharp. Why, you don't know me. I know you're running. I know someone hurt you. And I know you'd rather die in a storm than go back to them. That's enough. Beth stood abruptly, her chair scraping across the floor. You don't know anything. Then tell me. No. She walked to the window, stared out at the snow. Ethan watched her shoulders shake, crying maybe, or just trying not to. Lily slid off her chair, walked over, tugged on Beth's skirt. Don't be sad. Papa says sad is just love with nowhere to go. Beth looked down at the little girl. Your papa's very wise. He's also very sad. Maybe you can both put your love somewhere. Ethan's throat closed. Beth knelt, despite the pain it must have caused her arm. She brushed hair from Lily's face. What if I don't have any love left? Everybody has love. It's like breath. You can't run out. Beth's face crumpled. She pulled Lily into a one-armed hug and buried her face in the child's hair. Ethan turned away, giving them privacy. He grabbed his coat, headed for the door. Where are you going? Beth called. Check the horses. Make sure the roof's secure. Storm like this, things break. I'll come with you. You need to rest. I need to be useful. He looked at her. At this stubborn, broken woman who wouldn't sit still, even when her body was screaming at her to stop. Fine, but you do what I say. No arguments. No promises. They stepped outside into the wind. The cold hit like a fist. Beth gasped, but she didn't turn back. The barn was 50 feet from the cabin. Felt like a mile. By the time they reached it, both of them were covered in snow. Inside, the horses stamped and snorted. Ethan checked the stalls, made sure the water hadn't frozen. Beth leaned against a post, breathing hard. You should go back, Ethan said. I'm fine. You look like you're gonna pass out. I said I'm fine. Stubborn, just like Clara. Ethan grabbed a pitchfork, started mucking stalls. Beth watched for a minute, then picked up a brush and started grooming the nearest horse. One-handed, slow, but determined. They worked in silence. The wind rattled the barn walls. Snow leaked through gaps in the roof. You loved her, Beth said finally. Who? Your wife. Ethan didn't stop working. Yeah. How long were you married? 5 years. That's a long time. Not long enough. Beth was quiet for a moment. Then, I was married for 2 years. It felt like 20. Ethan stopped, looked at her. He hit you. It wasn't a question. She didn't answer, but she didn't have to. The bruises told the story. Is he the one you're running from? He's dead. Good. Beth's head snapped up. You don't mean that. I do. Any man who'd beat a pregnant woman deserves whatever he got. I didn't kill him. I didn't say you did. But that's what people think. That's why I'm running. Ethan set down the pitchfork, moved closer. What happened? Beth took a shaky breath. His name was David Hartford. We married when I was 27. He was older, established. A merchant. Everyone said I was lucky. She laughed hollow. For 6 months he was kind. Then I got pregnant the first time. Lost the baby at 4 months. He blamed me. Said I wasn't careful enough. Wasn't obedient enough. Her voice went flat, dead. He broke my wrist the first time when I burned dinner. The second time when I tried to leave. I was going to run to my sister in Missouri. He found me at the station, dragged me back. Told everyone I was hysterical. Grief-stricken over the baby. The doctor gave him papers. Commitment papers. Said I needed to be institutionalized for my own safety. Ethan's hands clenched into fists. 3 months ago, someone broke into our house. 3 men. I was asleep. David went downstairs. I heard shouting. Then a gunshot. I ran down. Found him dead. found one of the men standing over him with a gun. He looked at me, said, "You're free now," and left. Jesus. The marshal arrived 10 minutes later, found me covered in David's blood, arrested me on the spot, said I'd hired the men to kill him, that I wanted his money. Did you? No. I don't know who they were. I'd never seen them before. But David's father, Judge Cornelius Hartford, he's powerful. He wants someone to hang for his son's death. And I'm convenient. So you ran. So I ran. Got on a stage heading west. Made it 3 days before the judge's men caught up. The driver tried to outrun them. Lost control in the storm. I woke up in the snow. Alone. Ethan processed this. The judge thinks you're dead. Maybe. Or maybe he's still looking. Let him look. He won't find you here. You don't know that. I know this. No one takes a woman from my land without my permission, and I don't give permission to men who beat women. Beth's eyes filled. Why are you helping me? You don't owe me anything. My wife's last words to me were, don't let Lily grow up alone. I've been failing her for 3 years. But maybe helping you is how I start making that right. I'm not your redemption, no. But maybe we can help each other survive. Beth wiped her eyes with her good hand. 3 days. Then I'm gone. We'll see. They went back to work. The storm raged on, and in that barn with snow piling against the walls, 2 broken people made an unspoken agreement. They'd survive this, together, for however long together lasted. The storm lasted 4 days, not 3. By the second morning, Beth had stopped talking about leaving. She moved through the cabin like a ghost, learning to be solid again, one-handed, but efficient, always working, never still. Ethan watched her fold laundry, with her good hand bracing the fabric against her body. Watched her teach Lily letters by the fire, tracing them in ash on the hearth. Watched her flinch every time a horse whinnied outside, every time the wind howled too loud. She was waiting for someone to come. He could see it in the way her eyes tracked the door, the way she startled at sudden sounds. On the 3rd day, Sam found the tracks. He came into the cabin, shaking snow from his coat, his face grim. We got visitors last night, 2 riders. Stopped at the property line, turned back when they saw the dogs. Beth went white. She set down the bowl she'd been holding. It clattered against the table. How long ago? Ethan asked. Tracks are fresh, maybe 4 hours. They see the cabin. Can't say for sure, but they were looking. Beth stood abruptly. I need to leave, now. You can't, Ethan said. Storm's still too strong. You wouldn't make it a mile. I'll take my chances. And the baby? She flinched like he'd struck her. Her hand moved to her belly, protective and unconscious. They're looking for a pregnant woman traveling alone, Sam said quietly. You leave now, you're dead. Or worse. What's worse than dead? Going back to the man who broke your arm twice. Beth's legs gave out. She sank into the chair, her breath coming in short gasps. He's dead. David's dead. Maybe, Sam said. But his father ain't, and Judge's got long arms. Ethan moved to her side, knelt down so he was eye level. Listen to me. You're safe here. You understand, those men come back, they go through me and Sam first, and we don't go down easy. You don't understand what he's capable of. Judge Hartford owns half of Wyoming. He has marshals, bounty hunters, lawyers. He'll take everything from you just for helping me. Let him try. Ethan. I said let him try. His voice was harder than he meant it to be. I lost my wife because I couldn't save her. I'll be damned if I lose someone else because I was too afraid to fight. Beth stared at him. Her eyes were red-rimmed, exhausted. Why do you even care? Because Lily hasn't asked me to read her a bedtime story in 3 years. Last night she brought you a book. Because you hum while you cook, and it makes this place feel less like a tomb. Because... He stopped himself. Because what? Because you remind me what it feels like to want to be alive." The words hung in the air between them. Sam cleared his throat suddenly, very interested in checking his rifle. Beth reached out with her good hand, touched Ethan's face, just her fingertips against his jaw. "I'm going to bring you nothing but trouble." "I know." "You should send me away." "I know that too." She smiled, sad and broken. "Then you're a fool." "Probably." He stood, stepped back before he did something stupid like pull her into his arms. "Sam, double the watch tonight. I'll take first shift." "Already planned on it." Lily appeared in the doorway, dragging her doll behind her. "Are the bad men coming?" Beth's face crumpled. "No, baby," Ethan said quickly. "Nobody's coming. Sam just saw some tracks, that's all." "Tracks from the bad men who hurt Miss Beth." Christ. The kid heard everything. "We don't know who they're from." Ethan lied. Lily walked over to Beth, climbed into her lap without asking permission. Beth stiffened for a second, then wrapped her good arm around the child. "Papa's very strong," Lily said seriously. "And Sam's very smart. They'll keep you safe." "I hope so, sweetheart." "I know so. Papa promised Mama he'd keep people safe, and Papa never breaks promises." Ethan's chest tightened. He turned away, grabbed his coat. "I'm gonna check the perimeter." He left before anyone could respond. Outside, the wind cut through him like knives. He walked the property line looking for fresh tracks, anything that would tell him who'd been watching his land. The snow had covered most of it, but Sam was right. 2 horses, heavy riders. They'd stopped at the fence, stayed for maybe 10 minutes, then turned south toward town. Scouts, sent to confirm whether anyone was here, which meant they'd be back, with more men. Ethan looked back at the cabin. Smoke rose from the chimney. Through the window he could see Beth and Lily by the fire, the little girl's head on the woman's shoulder. He thought about Clara, about the promise he'd made. "Find someone kind," she'd said. "Someone who'll love Lily." He hadn't been looking, hadn't wanted to look. But this woman had walked into his life half dead and completely broken, and in 4 days she'd done what 3 years of grief couldn't. She'd made him want to fight again. He just hoped he remembered how. That night, Beth found the letters. She hadn't meant to snoop. Lily had asked for her mother's music box, said it was in the trunk at the foot of Ethan's bed. Beth opened the trunk, found the music box on top. But beneath it were letters, dozens of them, all in the same careful handwriting. She should have closed the trunk, should have walked away. She didn't. She pulled out the top letter, unfolded it. Read the first line. "My dearest Ethan, if you're reading this, I'm gone." Beth's hands shook. This was private, sacred. She had no right. But she kept reading. "I need you to promise me something. Don't live alone. Don't let grief make you a ghost. Find someone kind. Someone who will love our daughter as fiercely as I would have. Someone who will make you laugh again." Beth's vision blurred. "You're a good man, Ethan. The best I've ever known. But you carry too much. You think if you just try harder, work longer, love stronger, you can control the outcome. You can't. Some things are God's will, and we have to accept that." The next part was smudged, like tears had fallen on it while it was being written. "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of leaving you and Lily alone. I'm afraid you'll lock yourself away and forget how to be happy. Please don't do that. Please let someone in. Let someone help you carry this." Beth folded the letter carefully, put it back. There were more letters to Lily. Letters to friends, a letter to Clara's sister. All of them written in those final weeks of pregnancy when Clara knew she might not survive. Beth closed the trunk, sat on the floor with her back against the bed. She understood now. Understood why Ethan was helping her. It wasn't kindness. It was penance. He was trying to keep a promise to a dead woman. "You shouldn't be reading those." Beth's head snapped up. Ethan stood in the doorway, snow dusting his shoulders. "I'm sorry. Lily wanted the music box. I saw the letters and It's fine." It's not fine. They're private. Ethan walked over, sat beside her on the floor. The wood creaked under his weight. She wrote them 2 weeks before Lily was born. Knew something was wrong. The midwife kept saying everything was normal, but Clara knew. She loved you very much. I loved her more. He picked up the letter Beth had read, didn't unfold it. I read this one every night for a year after she died. Thought if I read it enough, I could figure out how to do what she asked. But I couldn't. Every time I tried to move forward, I felt like I was betraying her. You're not betraying her by living. Feels like it. Beth reached out, put her hand over his. She told you to find someone kind. Someone who'd love Lily. Someone who'd make you happy again. That's not betrayal. That's permission. Is it? I think so. They sat in silence. Outside the wind howled. Inside the fire crackled. Lily slept in the other room, humming in her dreams. What was she like? Beth asked softly. Ethan smiled, small and sad. Smart. Too smart. Used to correct my grammar in front of the ranch hands. Made me read poetry. Poetry. Can you imagine? I can, actually. She taught school in town before we married. Kids loved her. Parents loved her. I was just some cowboy who got lucky she looked twice at me. I doubt that. It's true. I was 22, she was 20. I saw her at a church social, couldn't stop staring. My friend dared me to ask her to dance. I stepped on her feet 4 times. She still married me. Beth laughed despite herself. Sounds like she was the lucky one. That's what she used to say. He looked at Beth, his eyes dark and honest. You remind me of her sometimes. The way you don't give up. The way you keep moving even when everything hurts. I don't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. You chose to survive. That takes courage. Or stupidity. Same thing sometimes. Beth leaned her head against his shoulder. It should have felt wrong. They'd known each other less than a week. But it didn't feel wrong. It felt like the first safe place she'd found in years. Tell me about him, Ethan said quietly. Who? Your husband. Beth stiffened. Why? Because I need to know what I'm up against if his father comes looking. She was quiet for a long time. Then, David was charming when we met. Brought me flowers, read me poetry, said all the right things. I was 27, my parents were dead, my sister had moved to Missouri. I was alone. He made me feel less alone. When did it change? Our wedding night. He told me I belonged to him now, that I'd obey him in all things. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. 6 months later, I was pregnant. I was so happy. Thought a baby would soften him. It didn't. He got worse. Said the baby was making me weak, useless. When I lost it, he blamed me. Said I'd killed his child through negligence. That's not how miscarriages work. I know that now. But he had me convinced. He broke my wrist a month later. Told the doctor I'd fallen down the stairs. The doctor believed him. Everyone believed him. David was respected, successful. I was just his hysterical wife. And the second pregnancy. Beth's hand moved to her belly. I didn't want it. I tried to leave before he found out. He caught me at the train station, dragged me home. Beat me so badly I couldn't walk for a week. Then he had a doctor declare me mentally unfit. Was going to have me committed. 2 weeks before the papers went through, he died. You said 3 men. 3 men I'd never seen before. One of them shot David. The other 2 ransacked the house, made it look like a robbery. Then they left. The one with the gun looked at me and said, "You're free." I don't know who they were. I don't know why they did it. But Judge Hartford convinced the marshal I'd hired them. Did you? No. She met his eyes unflinching. I wanted him dead. I prayed for it every night. But I didn't kill him. Ethan believed her. He didn't know why, but he did. The judge won't stop looking, Beth said. He's powerful, connected. He'll send marshals, bounty hunters, whoever it takes. And when he finds me, he'll hang me. Not because he thinks I killed David, because I made his family look weak. Then we don't let him find you. How? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. Beth shook her head. You can't fight a judge. Watch me. She looked at him like he was crazy. Maybe he was. But he'd spent 3 years hiding from life, and he was done. I should sleep, Beth said, pulling away. Take the bed. I'll take the floor. Ethan. It's not up for discussion. She didn't argue, just stood, walked to the bed, lay down on top of the covers. Ethan grabbed a blanket, made a pallet on the floor. They lay in darkness, listening to the storm. Ethan. Beth's voice was quiet. Yeah. Thank you for not asking me to prove I'm innocent. You don't have to prove anything to me. Most people would want proof. I'm not most people. Silence. Then, I know. Ethan closed his eyes. Tried to sleep. Couldn't. He kept thinking about Clara's letter, about the promise he'd made, about this broken woman in his bed who'd survived things that would have killed most people. He didn't know if what he felt was love or just the ghost of it. Didn't know if he had room in his heart for someone new. But he knew this: he'd fight for her. Whatever came, whoever came, he'd fight, even if it killed him. The riders came back on the 5th day. Ethan was in the barn with Sam when they heard the dogs barking. 3 sharp barks, pause, 3 more. The signal for intruders. How many? Ethan asked, grabbing his rifle. Sam peered through a gap in the barn wall. 4, maybe 5. Can't tell through the snow. They armed? Assume yes. Ethan ran to the cabin. Beth was at the stove, Lily at the table drawing. He grabbed Beth's arm, pulled her toward the back room. What's happening? Men outside. Get Lily, hide in the cellar. Don't come out until I tell you. Ethan, do it, now. She grabbed Lily, disappeared through the trapdoor in the floor. Ethan closed it, threw a rug over it, dragged the table on top. The knock came 30 seconds later. Hard. Authoritative. Ethan opened the door, rifle in hand. 5 men stood on his porch. 4 wore deputy badges. The 5th wore a judge's coat. Cornelius Hartford was 60, silver-haired, cold-eyed. He looked at Ethan like he was looking at dirt. Ethan Cole. That's right. I'm Judge Cornelius Hartford. I have a warrant for the arrest of Rebecca Hartford. I have reason to believe she's on your property. Don't know anyone by that name. Don't lie to me, son. We tracked her stagecoach to your land. Found it overturned, abandoned. She was the only passenger unaccounted for. Found a coach, sure. Didn't find any passengers. Figured they got picked up by someone else. Hartford's eyes narrowed. You're saying you didn't find a woman in the snow. I'm saying I don't know anyone named Rebecca Hartford. One of the deputies stepped forward. Sir, we'd like to search the premises. You got a warrant for that. We have a warrant for her arrest. That's not what I asked. Hartford smiled, thin and cruel. Mr. Cole, I understand you're a widower, raising a young daughter alone. That's admirable. But harboring a fugitive, that's a crime. One that could cost you this ranch. Cost you custody of your child. Ethan's blood went cold. You threatening my daughter? I'm stating facts. A man who aids a murderer is unfit to raise children. The court could remove the child, for her own safety. Sam appeared at Ethan's shoulder, rifle in hand. Seems to me 5 armed men threatening a rancher on his own property ain't exactly legal either. And who are you? Sam Greywolf. I work here. A half-breed, Hartford said dismissively. Your testimony won't hold up in court. Maybe not, but my rifle holds up just fine. The deputies tensed. Hands moved toward guns. Gentlemen, Ethan said, his voice deadly calm. You're on my land, without a warrant, threatening my family. The law says I got a right to defend my property. You really want to test that? Hartford stared at him for a long moment. Then he smiled. Smart. I can see why she ran to you. You're just stupid enough to think you can protect her. I protect what's mine. She's not yours. She's a murderer. She killed my son in cold blood, and she will hang for it. If she killed your son, maybe he deserved it. Hartford's face went purple. How dare you? I've heard stories about David Hartford, about how he treated women, about the bruises his wife wore, and the lies she told to cover them. If she killed him, and I'm not saying she did, maybe she had good reason. My son was a respected merchant, a pillar of the community. Your son was a coward who beat women. Hartford stepped forward. The deputies put hands on guns. Sam and Ethan didn't move. This isn't over, Hartford said quietly. No, it's not. I'll be back, with a proper warrant, with more men, and when I find her, you'll go down with her. Looking forward to it. Hartford turned, walked to his horse. The deputies followed. They mounted up, rode off into the snow. Ethan waited until they were out of sight. Then he pulled the table away, opened the cellar. Beth climbed out, shaking. Lily was crying. They're gone, Ethan said. For now. Beth's voice was hollow. He'll be back, like he said, with more men. And next time we'll be ready. Ethan, you can't fight a judge. He'll destroy you. Let him try. You don't understand. I understand plenty. I understand he's a bully who hides behind a badge. I understand he thinks he can take whatever he wants because he's got power and money. And I understand that I'm done letting men like him win. Sam cleared his throat. We need a plan. We need a lawyer, Beth said. Someone who can challenge the warrant. Someone who... I know someone, Sam said quietly. They both looked at him. Fort Laramie. There's a captain there. Owes me a favor. Big favor. He's got pull with the territorial court. Might be able to help. How long to get there? Ethan asked. 2 days, if the weather holds. Go, now, before Hartford gets back. Sam nodded, grabbed his coat. Watch your backs. Hartford's the type to send men in the night. We'll be ready. Sam left. The cabin felt suddenly very empty. Beth sank into a chair. This is my fault. I should have kept running. And died in the snow. That's not a solution. It's better than getting you killed. Nobody's getting killed. Lily climbed into Beth's lap, buried her face in her neck. Beth held her tight with her good arm. Ethan watched them. This woman who'd been in his life less than a week. This child who'd barely spoken in 3 years. They fit together like puzzle pieces he hadn't known were missing. I need to tell you something, Beth said quietly. What? When David died, his will left everything to his father. I got nothing. Not the house, not his business, nothing. Hartford convinced the court I was mentally unfit, so I couldn't contest it. But the baby... She paused. The baby inherits if it's a boy. Half of David's estate. That's why he wants you. He doesn't want me. He wants the baby. If I'm declared unfit or hung for murder, he gets custody, gets control of the inheritance. Jesus! I'm not just running from a murder charge. I'm running from a man who'll kill me to steal my child. Ethan's hands clenched into fists. Over my dead body. That's what I'm afraid of. He knelt in front of her, took her good hand. Listen to me. I'm not a smart man. I'm not rich. I'm not powerful. But I know right from wrong. And what he's doing, that's wrong. So I'm gonna fight him, with everything I have, and I'm gonna win. You can't promise that. Watch me. Beth's eyes filled. Why are you doing this? Because Clara told me to find someone kind, someone brave, someone who'd fight for what's right even when it's hard. I think she meant you. You barely know me. I know enough. He leaned forward, pressed his forehead to hers. She didn't pull away. I'm scared, she whispered. Me too. What if we lose? Then we lose together. Lily looked up at both of them. Papa always wins. He promised Mama. Ethan hoped to God the kid was right. Sam returned 2 days later with news. Captain's sending a letter to the territorial governor. Says he'll review Hartford's warrant personally. Might take a week." "We don't have a week," Beth said. "Then we make time." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He stood at the window watching the snow fall. Beth appeared beside him wrapped in a quilt. "Can't sleep either," she asked. "Thinking. About how to keep you safe." She touched his arm. "You've already done more than anyone ever has. It's not enough. It's everything." He turned to face her. In the moonlight through the window, she looked young, vulnerable, beautiful. "Beth. Rebecca, my real name. I want you to use it." "Rebecca." She smiled. I forgot what it sounded like, without anger attached to it. "Rebecca," he said again, testing it. She stepped closer. "Ethan, I need you to promise me something." "What?" "If Hartford comes, if things go bad, you take Lily and run. Don't stay for me." "No. Promise me." "No." "Ethan?" I said no. I'm not leaving you. I'm not running. We face this together or not at all. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe. But at least I'll die standing up. She kissed him. It wasn't planned, wasn't expected. Just a press of lips, soft and desperate. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." He kissed her back, harder this time, his hands in her hair, her good hand fisted in his shirt. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. "I don't know if this is love," he said, "or just fear, or something else entirely. But I know I want you here. I know Lily needs you, and I know I'll fight anyone who tries to take you away. Even a judge. Especially a judge." She laughed through tears. "You're insane." "Probably." They stood like that for a long time, holding each other in the dark, knowing that tomorrow might bring hell. But tonight, they had this, and it was enough. Morning came too fast. Ethan woke on the floor beside his bed where Rebecca slept, and for a moment, he let himself pretend this was normal. That she belonged here. That the kiss last night meant something more than two scared people reaching for comfort in the dark. Then he heard the horses. He was on his feet before his mind caught up, rifle in hand. Sam burst through the door without knocking. "6 riders, coming fast from town." Rebecca sat up, her face pale. "Hartford." "Can't tell yet, but they ain't friendly." Ethan moved to the window. Through the early morning light he could see them. 6 men on horseback moving with purpose. But something was wrong. These weren't deputies. They wore no badges, just heavy coats and gun belts. "Bounty hunters," Sam said quietly. "How do you know?" "Because I used to be one." Rebecca was out of bed, grabbing Lily from the other room. The child was still half asleep, confused. "Papa, what's happening?" "Nothing, baby. Just some visitors." "Bad visitors." Ethan didn't answer. He couldn't lie to her anymore. The riders stopped 50 yards from the cabin. One of them dismounted, walked forward. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a scar running from his left eye to his jaw. "Ethan Cole." His voice carried across the snow. Ethan stepped onto the porch, rifle visible but not aimed. "That's me. Name's Jackson Pike. I'm here for Rebecca Hartford. Judge Hartford's offering $500 for her return, alive." "Don't know anyone by that name." Pike smiled. It wasn't friendly. "See, that's the thing. We tracked her stagecoach. Found it abandoned on your land. Found your tracks leading away from it, so either you picked her up or you know where she went. Either way, you're gonna tell me. And if I don't, then we search your property. By force if necessary. You got a warrant?" "Don't need one. We're private contractors. Judge hired us to find his daughter-in-law. Says she's dangerous, mentally unstable. We're just doing a job." "Job's done. She's not here." Pike looked at the cabin, at the smoke from the chimney, at the clothes hanging on the line. Women's clothes. You sure about that? Real sure. Mind if we look around? Just to be certain. I do mind. Pike's hand moved to his gun. Behind him, the other 5 riders spread out surrounding the cabin. Mr. Cole, I'm trying to be polite, but my patience has limits. Sam appeared at Ethan's shoulder, rifle raised. So does mine. Pike's eyes flicked to Sam, dismissed him. A half-breed ranch hand, that's your backup. Don't need backup on my own land. Maybe not, but you got a daughter in there, don't you, little girl? 3-4 years old. Be a shame if she got caught in crossfire. Ethan's blood went cold. You threatening my child? I'm stating facts. Things can get messy when folks don't cooperate. Accidents happen. Behind Ethan, the door opened. Rebecca stepped out, holding Lily's hand. Don't, Ethan said sharply. Rebecca ignored him. She walked forward, stood beside him on the porch. I'm Rebecca Hartford. Pike's smile widened. Well now, that was easy. I'll go with you. Just leave them alone. Rebecca, no. It's okay, Ethan. She squeezed his hand. I can't let them hurt Lily. Noble, Pike said. But the judge wants to make sure there's no trouble, so you'll come with us, and Mr. Cole here is going to promise to stay put, no following, no interfering. And if I don't promise, then my men burn your barn, maybe your cabin. Depends on how stubborn you are. Lily started crying. Rebecca knelt down, hugged her with her good arm. It's okay, sweetheart. Everything's going to be okay. Don't go, Lily sobbed. Please don't go. I have to. Ethan's hands shook on the rifle. He was outnumbered, outgunned, and they had the advantage of position. If he started shooting, Lily could get hurt. Rebecca could get hurt. But if he let them take her, Hartford would hang her within the week. Give me a minute, Ethan said, to say goodbye. Pike considered. 1 minute. Then she comes with us. Ethan pulled Rebecca aside, lowered his voice. There's a pistol in the flour barrel. Small, easy to hide. When they're not looking. I'm not shooting my way out of this. Then what's your plan? Let them take you back so Hartford can kill you and steal your baby. Better than watching you die trying to save me. That's not your choice to make. Yes, it is. She touched his face. Ethan, you've given me more in 1 week than I had in 2 years of marriage. You made me feel human again. That's enough. It's not enough. Not even close. Lily wrapped her arms around Rebecca's legs. Don't leave. You're my mama now. Rebecca's face crumbled. She knelt, pulled Lily close. Listen to me, sweet girl. I need you to be brave. Can you do that? I don't want to be brave. I want you to stay. I know. But sometimes we don't get what we want. Sometimes we just get what we need. And what you need is your papa. He's going to take care of you. He's going to keep you safe. You believe that? Lily nodded, crying. Good. And when you're scared, you remember that I love you. You remember that you're the bravest little girl I ever met. Okay. Okay. Rebecca stood, looked at Ethan. Take care of her. I'm not letting you do this. You don't have a choice. Time's up, Pike called. Rebecca walked toward the horses. Ethan started to follow. Sam grabbed his arm. Don't. They'll kill you. I don't care. Your daughter needs you alive more than dead. Ethan watched Pike lift Rebecca onto a horse. Watched them tie her good hand to the saddle horn. Watched them turn south toward town. And he did nothing. He stood on his porch holding his crying daughter, and did absolutely nothing. When they were out of sight, he carried Lily inside, set her down gently. Then he punched the wall so hard his knuckles split. Ethan? Sam started. Don't. Just don't. He grabbed his coat, his rifle, his saddlebag. What are you doing? What I should have done 10 minutes ago. You go after them alone, you're dead. Then I'm dead. Sam blocked the door. And what happens to Lily? She loses you too. That's your plan. Ethan stopped. His daughter stood in the corner clutching her doll, eyes wide and terrified. Papa! He knelt down, pulled her into his arms. She was shaking. I'm not leaving you, baby. I promise. You promised Miss Rebecca you'd keep her safe too. I know. Then why did you let them take her? Because I'm a coward, he wanted to say. Because I froze. Because I was afraid. Because sometimes the right choice looks like the wrong one, he said instead. That doesn't make sense. I know. Lily pulled back, looked at him with Clara's eyes. Mama told you to be brave. She told you to help people. Miss Rebecca is people. Out of the mouths of children. You're right, Ethan said quietly. She did. He stood, looked at Sam. I need you to stay with Lily. Keep her safe. Where are you going? To town, to fix this. How? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. Sam studied him for a long moment, then nodded. You got 12 hours before I come after you. Fair enough. Ethan kissed Lily's forehead, grabbed his things, headed for the barn. His horse was already saddled. Sam must have known he'd do this. The ride to town took 2 hours. The whole way, Ethan's mind raced. He couldn't fight 6 bounty hunters and a judge. Couldn't break Rebecca out of jail without getting them both killed. Couldn't rely on the law because the law was owned by Hartford. But he could do one thing. He could tell the truth. Town was quiet when he arrived. Saturday afternoon, most folks were home or at the saloon. Ethan rode straight to the marshal's office, tied his horse, walked inside. Marshal Tom Grady looked up from his desk. He was 50, graying tired, a decent man trapped in a bad situation. Ethan, figured I'd see you eventually. Where is she? Jail cell out back. Judge Hartford's with her now, taking her statement. Alone. He's her father-in-law. Got a legal right. He's got a legal right to terrorize a pregnant woman. Grady sighed. I don't like it either, but my hands are tied. He's got a warrant, got witnesses, got cause. I got nothing but your word she's innocent. My word should be enough. Should be. Ain't. Ethan heard shouting from the back. A man's voice loud and angry. Then Rebecca's voice quieter but firm. I need to see her. Can't allow that. Tom, please. I'm sorry, Ethan. I truly am, but I got orders. Ethan turned to leave, stopped, turned back. You remember when Clara died? You came to the ranch, brought food, sat with me while I cried, told me grief don't follow rules. Grady's face softened. I remember. You also told me that sometimes the law and justice ain't the same thing, that a man's got to follow his conscience even when the law says otherwise. I said that when I was drunk. Doesn't make it less true. Grady stood, walked to the door leading to the cells, unlocked it. 5 minutes, that's all I can give you. Thank you. Ethan walked through. The jail had 3 cells. Rebecca was in the middle one. Judge Hartford stood outside it, face red with anger. You will sign this confession, Hartford was saying, or I will make sure your child is taken the moment it's born. I'm not signing anything. You killed my son. I didn't. Then who did? I don't know, but it wasn't me. Hartford saw Ethan, his expression darkening. What are you doing here? Visiting. You have no right. I have every right. This is a public jail. She's allowed visitors. Not while I'm questioning her. Then stop questioning her. Hartford stepped closer, voice dropping. You're making a very big mistake, Mr. Cole. I could destroy you, take your land, take your daughter, make you wish you'd never been born. You could try. Is she really worth all this? A murderer, a woman you've known less than 2 weeks. Ethan looked past him at Rebecca. She sat on the cell cot, her good hand resting on her belly, her face bruised. Fresh bruises. New ones. Did you hit her? Ethan's voice was deadly quiet. I disciplined an unruly prisoner. She's pregnant. She's a criminal. Ethan moved before he could think. His fist connected with Hartford's jaw. The judge went down hard, blood spraying from his split lip. "You son of a—" Ethan grabbed him by the collar, hauled him up. "You touch her again, I'll kill you. I don't care about warrants or laws or consequences. You lay one more hand on her, I will end you." Marshal Grady burst through the door. Ethan let him go. "He hit her." "I don't care if he shot her. Let him go or I'll arrest you too." Ethan released Hartford. The judge stumbled back, wiping blood from his mouth. "You just assaulted a federal judge," Hartford said. "That's 10 years in prison. Worth it. Marshal, arrest this man." Grady looked between them. "Judge Hartford, maybe you should leave. Let tempers cool. I want him arrested. And I want to do my job without politicians breathing down my neck. We can't always get what we want." Hartford's face went purple. "This isn't over." "Never is." The judge left, slamming the door. Grady locked it behind him, then turned to Ethan. "You got about 30 seconds before he comes back with half the town. Say what you need to say." Ethan moved to Rebecca's cell. She came to the bars. "You shouldn't have done that," she said. "He hit you." "I've been hit before." "Not while I'm around." She reached through the bars with her good hand. He took it, held tight. "Ethan, you need to leave. Take Lily and go. Get as far from this town as you can. I'm not leaving you. He's going to kill you if you stay." "Let him try. This isn't your fight." "The hell it's not." Grady cleared his throat. "Time's up." "1 more minute," Ethan said. "Don't have it." Ethan pulled Rebecca closer, pressed his forehead against the bars. "I'm getting you out of here." "How?" "I don't know yet, but I will." "Promise me something." "What?" "If you can't get me out, if this goes to trial and they convict me, promise you'll take care of my baby." "Rebecca, promise me. The judge wants custody. He'll raise my child to be like David. I can't let that happen. But if you take the baby, if you raise it with Lily, they'll have a chance." "You're not going to die. Promise me anyway." Ethan's throat closed. "I promise." She kissed him through the bars, quick and desperate. "I love you. I know it's crazy. I know it's too fast. But I need you to know. I love you too. Liar. It's true. You barely know me." "I know enough." Grady pulled Ethan away. "That's enough. You need to go." Ethan let himself be let out, but at the door he stopped, looked back at Rebecca standing in her cell, one hand on her belly, tears streaming down her face. "I'm not giving up," he said. "I know." Outside, the sun was setting. Ethan stood in the street trying to think. There had to be a way. Some legal loophole, some technicality, something that would prove her innocence. Then he saw her, an old woman standing in the shadows across the street. She was small, hunched, wrapped in a shawl. But her eyes were sharp. She beckoned to him. Ethan crossed the street. "Do I know you?" "No, but I knew David Hartford and his wife." "Rebecca." The woman nodded. "I was their housekeeper. Worked for them for a year before David died." "You saw what he did to her?" "I saw everything, the beatings, the cruelty, the way he locked her in the cellar when she displeased him. I wanted to help her, but I was afraid." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I'm dying. Cancer. Doctor says I got maybe 3 months, and I don't want to meet my maker knowing I let that woman hang for something she didn't do." "You'll testify." "If there's a trial, yes, but it won't matter. Judge Hartford owns the jury, owns the prosecutor. She'll be convicted no matter what I say." "Then what good is your testimony?" "It's not about winning in court. It's about the truth. And the truth is those 3 men who killed David Hartford. They didn't work for Rebecca. They worked for Cornelius." Ethan went cold. "What?" "The judge hired them. Told them to make it look like a robbery. Told them to kill David and frame Rebecca." "Why would he kill his own son?" "Because David was a liability, drank too much, talked too much, was about to confess to some embezzlement scheme the judge was running. So the judge had him killed. 2 birds, 1 stone. Gets rid of a loose end and gets custody of the grandchild. Controls the inheritance. Can you prove this? I heard the judge talking to one of the killers. In the study, 2 weeks after David died, they were arguing about payment. The killer wanted more money. The judge threatened to have him arrested for murder. That's hearsay. Won't hold up in court. Maybe not, but it's the truth, and sometimes the truth is all we got. Ethan's mind raced. If what she was saying was true, Hartford wasn't just corrupt, he was a murderer. But proving it would be nearly impossible. "What's your name?" he asked. "Margaret Flynn." "Mrs. Flynn, I need you to come with me. Tell the marshal what you just told me." "I can't. Judge Hartford finds out I talked, he'll kill me before the cancer does." "Then write it down. Sign it. I'll keep it safe." She hesitated, then nodded. "There's a boarding house 2 blocks north, room 6. Come there tonight. I'll have it written." "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet. This might not change anything." "It changes everything." She disappeared into the shadows. Ethan stood in the street, his heart pounding. This was it. The proof he needed. The leverage to destroy Hartford. But he had to move fast. Hartford wasn't stupid. If he suspected someone was talking, he'd silence them. Ethan headed back to the marshal's office. Grady was at his desk, head in his hands. "Tom, I need to talk to you." "Not now, Ethan. It's important." "I said not now." "Hartford killed his own son." Grady's head snapped up. "What?" "He hired the men who killed David, framed Rebecca. I got a witness." "Who?" "Doesn't matter. They're willing to testify." "Testify to what hearsay rumors that won't hold up?" "It will if we investigate. Talk to the killers. Find out who paid them." "You think they're just gonna confess?" "Maybe, if we offer them a deal." Grady stood paced. "This is insane." "It's the truth. Truth don't matter if we can't prove it." "Then help me prove it." Grady looked at him for a long time. Then he sighed. "You know what you're asking? You're asking me to go against a federal judge, a man with connections from here to Washington. If you're wrong, I lose my badge, my pension, everything. And if I'm right, then we bring down one of the most powerful men in Wyoming. So what do you say?" Grady grabbed his gun belt, strapped it on. "I say we better not be wrong." They worked through the night. Grady sent wires to Fort Laramie, to the territorial governor, to anyone who might listen. Ethan rode back to Mrs. Flynn's boarding house, collected the written statement. It was detailed, damning, signed, and dated. By morning, they had enough to request a formal investigation. Not enough to free Rebecca, but enough to delay the trial. Hartford arrived at the marshal's office at dawn, flanked by his lawyers. "I'm here to transport the prisoner," he said. "Can't do that," Grady said. "Excuse me. New evidence has come to light. Requires further investigation. Trials postponed." "On whose authority?" "Mine, and the territorial governor's. He received some interesting information last night. Wants to review the case personally." Hartford's face went white. "This is outrageous." "This is the law. I'll have your badge for this." "You're welcome to try." Hartford looked at Ethan. His eyes promised murder. "This isn't over." "I'm counting on it." The judge left. The moment the door closed, Grady collapsed into his chair. "We just poked a very dangerous bear," he said. "I know. He's gonna come after us with everything he's got." "I know that too." "You better be right about this." "I am." Grady looked at him. "For your sake, I hope so. Because if you're wrong, we're both dead." Ethan went back to the jail cells. Rebecca was awake, sitting on the cot, staring at the wall. "They postponed the trial," he said. She looked up. "How?" "Got new evidence, a witness. It's not much, but it's enough to buy time." "Ethan, what did you do?" "What I had to." She stood, came to the bars. "He's going to kill you for this." "Probably." "Then why?" Because you're worth it. She started crying, not quiet tears, deep, shaking sobs. No one's ever fought for me before. I'm fighting now. Why? Because I love you. Because Lily loves you. Because you deserve to live. I'm so tired of running. Then stop. Stay. Fight with me. I don't know how. You've been fighting your whole life. You just didn't know it. She reached through the bars, touched his face. If we survive this, when we survive this, I want to marry you. Ethan's breath caught. What? I know it's crazy. I know it's fast. But I don't care. I want Lily to be my daughter. I want this baby to have a father. I want to wake up every morning knowing I'm safe. And I feel safe with you. Rebecca. Will you marry me? He laughed, overwhelmed. Yeah, I will. Even though I'm a mess. Especially because you're a mess. She kissed him through the bars, long and slow and full of promise. When they broke apart, Grady was standing behind Ethan, looking uncomfortable. Hate to interrupt, but Hartford's lawyers are filing an emergency appeal. Judge in Cheyenne. We got maybe 48 hours before this whole thing blows up. Then we better make them count, Ethan said. He left the jail, his mind already working. 48 hours. 2 days to prove Rebecca's innocence and destroy a judge. It wasn't much time, but it would have to be enough. Ethan rode back to the ranch just after sunrise. His body ached from a sleepless night, but his mind wouldn't stop racing. 48 hours. 2 days to find the men who'd killed David Hartford and make them talk. 2 days to prove that a federal judge had murdered his own son. It should have been impossible. Sam was waiting on the porch, rifle across his lap. Well? Trial's postponed. Got new evidence. That's good. Hartford's appealing. We got 2 days before it all falls apart. That's bad. Ethan dismounted, tied his horse. Where's Lily? Still sleeping. Cried herself out around midnight. Kept asking when Miss Rebecca was coming home. The words hit like a punch. What did you tell her? Told her soon. Figured it was either that or the truth, and she's too young for the truth. Ethan walked inside. The cabin felt wrong without Rebecca. Too quiet. Too empty. He checked on Lily, found her curled up in his bed, clutching the doll Rebecca had given her. He didn't wake her. Back in the main room, Sam had coffee brewing. He poured 2 cups, handed one to Ethan. So what's the plan? Find the men who killed David Hartford. Make them confess. That's not a plan. That's a death wish. You got a better idea? Sam sipped his coffee. Actually, yeah, I know one of them. Ethan nearly dropped his cup. What? The bounty hunters who took Rebecca. I recognized one of them. Man named Carl Jennings. Used to work the circuit with me 5 years back. Mean son of a bitch, but he's got a weakness. What kind of weakness? Cards. Owes money all over the territory. Always looking for the next big score. You think he was one of the men who killed David? Don't know. But if he wasn't, he knows who was. Bounty hunters talk. And if Hartford hired killers, he hired from the same pool he hired Jennings from. Where do we find him? Saloon in town. The Broken Wheel. He drinks there every night. Then that's where we start. Sam set down his cup. You know this could go bad real fast. I know. Hartford finds out we're asking questions, he'll send more than bounty hunters. I know that too. And if Jennings don't talk, then we make him talk. Sam studied him. You've changed. How's that? 3 weeks ago you wouldn't have punched a judge, wouldn't have threatened bounty hunters, wouldn't have risked everything for a woman you barely know. 3 weeks ago, I was half dead and didn't know it. And now I got something worth living for. Sam smiled, rare and genuine. Clara would have liked her. Yeah, she would have. They finished their coffee in silence. Then Lily appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. Papa? Ethan scooped her up, held her close. Hey, baby. Is Miss Rebecca coming home today? Not today. Tomorrow. I don't know yet. Lily's face crumpled. But you promised. I know, and I'm working on it. I promise. You said promises don't break. They don't. I'm gonna bring her home. Just need a little more time. How much time? 2 days. Lily held up 2 fingers. This many. That's right. Okay, but no more. Miss Rebecca needs us. I know she does. Lily wiggled down, ran to the table, started drawing with the charcoal sticks Rebecca had given her. Ethan watched her for a moment, his chest tight. She's gonna make a good big sister, Sam said quietly. If we survive the next 48 hours. When we survive. Ethan grabbed his coat. Stay with her. I'm going to town. You need backup. I need you here. If something happens to me, you get Lily to your family at Fort Laramie. Keep her safe. Nothing's gonna happen to you. But if it does, I'll keep her safe. You got my word. Ethan nodded, headed for the door. Stopped. Turned back. Sam? Yeah. Thank you. For all of this. Don't thank me yet. We ain't won nothing. Still, thank you. Sam just nodded. The ride back to town felt longer than it should have. Ethan kept thinking about Rebecca in that cell, about Lily's tear-stained face, about Hartford's smug smile when he'd tried to take everything. The broken wheel was half full when Ethan arrived. Saturday afternoon, the usual crowd. Cowboys, ranch hands, drifters. And in the back corner playing cards with 3 other men was Carl Jennings. Ethan walked straight to the table. Jennings looked up, his scarred face twisting into a grin. Well, well, if it ain't the love-struck rancher. Come to lose some money. Come to talk. I'm busy. Make time. Jennings laid down his cards. Boys, give us a minute. The other players left without argument. Jennings leaned back in his chair, studying Ethan. You got some nerve walking in here after what happened. You mean after you kidnapped a pregnant woman for blood money? I mean after you let her go without a fight. Some protector you are. Ethan's fists clenched. I want information. Information costs. How much? Depends what you're asking. The men who killed David Hartford. Who were they? Jennings' smile faded. That's dangerous territory. I'm aware. You sure you want to go down this road? I'm sure. Jennings poured himself a whiskey, didn't offer Ethan one. Let's say hypothetically I knew something about that job. Why would I tell you? Because the judge is setting up an innocent woman to hang for it. So innocent people hang all the time. Not if I can help it. Noble. Stupid, but noble. Jennings drained his glass. What's in it for me? $500. That's what Hartford's paying for the woman. Then you'll get paid twice. Or I could just turn you in right now. Tell Hartford you're sniffing around. He'd pay good money to shut you up. Ethan pulled his pistol, laid it on the table. Not pointed at Jennings. Just there. You could try. Jennings looked at the gun, then at Ethan, then laughed. You got balls. I'll give you that. He leaned forward. The job on David Hartford. 3 men, brothers, the Keller brothers. Nasty pieces of work, done jobs all over the territory. Where are they now? Don't know. They took their money and disappeared. Probably Mexico by now. They took money from who? From the judge. Jennings hesitated. I didn't say that. But that's what you meant. Look, I don't know nothing for certain. But word is someone high up wanted David Hartford dead. Wanted it to look like a robbery. The Kellers were hired to do it clean, in and out. But they got greedy. Tried to rob the place for real. That's when things went sideways. And Rebecca. She was just there. Wrong place, wrong time. The Kellers were supposed to kill her too. Make it look like she fought back. But one of them, the youngest, I think couldn't do it. Left her alive. Ethan's blood ran cold. They were supposed to kill her. Yeah. On whose orders? Jennings shook his head. I ain't saying nothing more. You want answers, you find the Kellers. Where? Last I heard they were holed up in a mining camp north of Laramie. Place called Devil's Gulch. But that was 2 months ago. Could be long gone by now. Or they could still be there. Maybe. But even if you find them, what makes you think they'll talk? I'll make them an offer. What kind of offer? Their lives in exchange for the truth. Jennings whistled low. You really are willing to die for this woman, ain't you? If it comes to that. It probably will. Ethan stood holstered his gun. One more thing. You tell Hartford about this conversation, I'll come back. And next time, I won't be asking nice. Noted. Ethan left the saloon, his mind already working. Devil's Gulch was a full day's ride north, which meant he'd be gone overnight, which meant leaving Lily with Sam, which meant if something went wrong, she might never see him again. But he didn't have a choice. He stopped at the general store, bought supplies. Rope, ammunition, dried meat. Then he went to the marshal's office. Grady was at his desk, surrounded by papers. Please tell me you got good news. I got a lead on the killers. Where? Devil's Gulch, mining camp north of here. That's a rough place, lawless. I know. You go up there alone, you might not come back. I know that too. Grady stood. Then I'm coming with you. You can't. Someone needs to stay here, keep an eye on Hartford. And someone needs to keep you from getting killed. Tom, don't argue. You need backup, and you know it. Ethan wanted to refuse, but Grady was right. What about Rebecca? She's safe for now. Hartford's lawyers are still filing paperwork. We got at least 36 hours before the appeal goes through. That's cutting it close. Everything about this is cutting it close. They rode out an hour later. Grady brought a deputy named Willis to watch the jail. Young kid, green but honest. He'd keep Rebecca safe. The ride north was brutal. November cold settling into December freeze. Snow on the ground, ice on the trails. They pushed hard, stopping only to rest the horses. By nightfall, they reached Devil's Gulch. It wasn't a town, barely qualified as a camp. Just a cluster of shacks and tents built around a played-out silver mine. The kind of place men came when they had nowhere else to go. They tied their horses outside the largest tent, which served as a combination saloon, store, and brothel. Inside, the air was thick with smoke and sweat. 24 men crowded around makeshift tables, drinking, gambling, fighting. Ethan scanned the room. Spotted 3 men in the back corner, brothers from the look of them. Same sharp features, same cold eyes. The Kellers. Grady saw them too. That's them. Has to be. So what's the plan? We talk to them, offer them a deal. And if they don't want a deal, then we improvise. They crossed the room. Conversations died. Eyes followed them. Strangers weren't welcome here. The oldest Keller looked up when Ethan and Grady reached the table. He was maybe 40, scarred and weathered. Help you. Need to talk to you boys about a job. We ain't hiring. Not looking to hire, looking for information. The middle brother laughed. Information costs. I can pay. How much? Depends on what you tell me. The oldest Keller set down his cards. About what? David Hartford. The temperature in the tent dropped 10 degrees. The youngest brother couldn't have been more than 25, went pale. Don't know anyone by that name? The oldest said. Sure you do. You killed him 3 months ago. Made it look like a robbery. The middle brother's hand moved toward his gun. Grady's hand moved faster, resting on his own pistol. Easy, Grady said. We're not here to arrest you. Then what do you want? The truth, Ethan said. You were hired to kill David Hartford and his wife. You killed him. But you let her live. I want to know who hired you. And why would we tell you that? Because the man who hired you is trying to hang an innocent woman. And if she hangs, he gets what he wants. But if she doesn't, if she walks free and names you as the real killers, you all hang instead. The brothers exchanged looks. "You're bluffing," the oldest said. "Am I? Judge Cornelius Hartford is powerful, connected. Right now he's got the law on his side. But if his daughter-in-law goes free, if she tells everyone that he hired you to kill his son, suddenly the law's looking at him. And when they start digging, they're gonna find you. And when they find you, you're dead." The youngest brother spoke for the first time. He said she'd be blamed. Said it was clean. "Shut up, Billy," the oldest snapped. "No. I'm tired of running. Tired of looking over my shoulder. You talk, we're all dead." "We're already dead." Billy looked at Ethan. "What are you offering? Immunity, full pardons. You testify against Hartford. Tell the court he hired you, and you walk free." "You can't promise that." Grady stepped forward, showed his badge. "I can. I'm a U.S. Marshal. I got authority to make deals. And if we don't take it, then you run, and keep running. For the rest of your lives." The brothers argued in low voices. Ethan couldn't hear all of it, but he caught enough. Billy wanted to take the deal. The middle brother wanted to run. The oldest wanted to kill Ethan and Grady right there. Finally, Billy stood. "I'll testify." "Billy, sit down," the oldest growled. "No, I'm done. I didn't sign up to kill women. Didn't sign up to let innocent people hang. We did what Hartford paid us to do. But that's on him, not her. He'll kill you. Maybe, but at least I'll die with a clear conscience." The oldest Keller shook his head. "You're a fool." "Probably." Billy looked at Ethan. "But I'll talk. I'll tell the court everything." "Thank you." "Don't thank me. Just keep your word." They left Devil's Gulch before dawn. Billy Keller rode with them, hands tied, but cooperative. The other brothers stayed behind, too afraid to come forward. But one was enough. The ride back took all day. They reached town just as the sun was setting. Grady took Billy straight to the jail, locked him in a cell separate from Rebecca's. Ethan went to see her first. She was asleep on the cot, one hand resting on her belly. She looked exhausted, pale, too thin. "Rebecca," he said softly. Her eyes opened, focused on him, filled with tears. "You came back." "I promised, didn't I?" She stood, came to the bars. He took her hands through the iron. "I got him. One of the killers. He's going to testify." "What?" "Billy Keller, youngest of the three brothers who killed David. He's willing to tell the court that Hartford hired them." Rebecca's legs gave out. She slid to the floor, sobbing. "It's over." "Not yet, but we're close." "I can't believe it. I thought I was going to die here." "You're not dying. You're getting out. You're coming home." "Home," she repeated, like she'd forgotten the word. "To the ranch. To me. To Lily. To us." She pressed her face against the bars. "I love you." "I love you too." Grady appeared behind Ethan. "We got a problem." Ethan's chest tightened. "What kind of problem?" "Hartford knows. Don't know how, but he knows. Just got word he's riding here with 20 men. Gonna be here within the hour." "Can we hold them off?" "Not legally. He's got papers from the Cheyenne judge. Emergency order. Says Rebecca's to be transported immediately for trial. So we've got nothing. We've got Billy Keller. If we can get him in front of a judge, we don't have time. Then we make time." Ethan thought fast. How long would it take to get to Fort Laramie? 4 hours, maybe 5. And there's a federal judge there. "Yeah, Judge Morrison. Good man, honest." "Then we go to him." "You're talking about breaking Rebecca out of jail and running. That's a federal crime." "Only if we get caught." Grady stared at him. "You're serious." "Dead serious. We can't win here. Hartford owns this town, owns the jury, owns everything. But at Fort Laramie on federal land, he's got no power." "This is insane." "You got a better idea." Grady looked at Rebecca, at Billy in the other cell, at Ethan. Then he unlocked Rebecca's cell. "Let's go." They moved fast. Grady got the horses ready while Ethan helped Rebecca into a coat. Billy came without complaint. "Where are we going?" Rebecca asked. "Fort Laramie. Gonna get you in front of a real judge. Hartford will follow us." "Let him." They rode out the back of the jail just as Hartford and his men entered town from the south. 20 riders heavily armed looking for blood. But by the time they reached the marshal's office, Ethan and the others were already gone. The ride to Fort Laramie was the longest of Ethan's life. Rebecca could barely stay in the saddle. Billy kept looking over his shoulder, expecting bullets. Grady rode ahead, scouting for trouble. They made it to the fort just after midnight. The sentries almost didn't let them in. But Grady flashed his badge, explained the situation, and the captain of the guard agreed to wake Judge Morrison. Morrison was 70, white-haired, sharp-eyed. He listened to Grady's explanation to Billy's confession to Rebecca's story. Then he looked at Ethan. "You punched a federal judge." "Yes, sir." "And broke a prisoner out of jail." "Yes, sir." "And you think I should just overlook that?" "No, sir, but I think you should hear the truth before you make up your mind." Morrison studied him for a long moment. Then he turned to Billy. "You're willing to testify under oath that Judge Hartford hired you to kill his son?" "Yes, sir." "And you understand that doing so might get you killed?" "Yes, sir." "Why should I believe you?" "Because I'm tired of lying." Morrison nodded slowly. "Marshal Grady, I'm issuing an emergency order. Rebecca Hartford is to be released into protective custody pending a full investigation into Judge Hartford's conduct. Billy Keller will be held as a material witness. And Mr. Cole here," he looked at Ethan, "you're damn lucky I believe in justice over procedure." "Thank you, sir." "Don't thank me yet. Hartford's gonna fight this with everything he's got." "Let him fight." Morrison smiled grim and approving. "I like you, son. You got spine. Just trying to do right. That's all any of us can do." Rebecca collapsed into Ethan's arms. He held her, felt her shaking with exhaustion and relief. "It's over," she whispered. "It's over," he agreed. But even as he said it, he knew it wasn't true. Hartford was still out there, still powerful, still dangerous. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Judge Morrison's courtroom filled before dawn. Word had spread fast. A federal judge accused of murder. A pregnant widow fighting for her life. A rancher willing to risk everything for love. The territory hadn't seen a case this big in decades. Ethan sat in the front row, Rebecca beside him. She'd barely slept. Her face was drawn, her good hand trembling in his. On her other side sat Lily, who'd ridden through the night with Sam to be here. "Papa, is Miss Rebecca gonna be okay?" Lily whispered. "She's gonna be fine, baby. Promise. Promise." Across the aisle, Cornelius Hartford sat surrounded by lawyers. 3 of them, all expensive, all stone-faced. Hartford himself looked calm. Too calm. Like a man who already knew he'd won. That worried Ethan more than anything. Judge Morrison entered. Everyone stood. The judge settled into his chair, adjusted his glasses, looked out over the crowded room. "This is an emergency hearing to review the charges against Rebecca Hartford and to investigate allegations of misconduct by Judge Cornelius Hartford. Marshal Grady, you may present your evidence." Grady stood, walked to the front. "Your Honor, we have a witness, Billy Keller. He was one of 3 men hired to kill David Hartford 3 months ago." Hartford's lawyer shot to his feet. "Objection. This witness is a self-confessed murderer. His testimony is worthless." "Overruled. I'll hear what he has to say." Morrison nodded to the bailiff. "Bring him in." Billy Keller entered in shackles. He looked terrified. His eyes darted to Hartford, then quickly away. The bailiff led him to the witness stand. "Mr. Keller," Morrison said, "you understand you're under oath?" "Yes, sir." And you understand that anything you say can be used against you in a court of law? Yes, sir. Then tell me what happened the night David Hartford died. Billy swallowed hard. My brothers and me, we were hired to kill David Hartford. Make it look like a robbery. We were told to kill his wife, too. Make it clean. Who hired you? Billy's voice dropped to barely a whisper. Judge Cornelius Hartford. The courtroom erupted. Morrison banged his gavel. Order! Hartford's lawyer was on his feet again. This is absurd. My client would never. Sit down, counselor. Morrison's voice was ice. Mr. Keller, how do you know it was Judge Hartford who hired you? He met with us personally, 3 weeks before the job. Paid us half up front, $500 each. Said we'd get the rest when it was done. And did you complete the job? We killed David Hartford. But I couldn't kill the woman. She was pregnant, scared. I just couldn't do it. So you left her alive? Yes, sir. My brothers wanted to finish the job, but I wouldn't let them. We fought about it. Nearly came to blows. But in the end, we left. Took the money and ran. Did Judge Hartford know you'd left Mrs. Hartford alive? Not right away. But when he found out, he was furious. Sent men after us. That's why we've been hiding. Morrison turned to Hartford. Judge Hartford, you'll have a chance to respond. But first, I want to hear from Mrs. Hartford. Rebecca stood slowly. Ethan helped her to the witness stand. She looked small there, fragile, but her voice when she spoke was steady. Tell me what happened the night your husband died, Morrison said gently. I was asleep. I heard shouting downstairs. Heard David arguing with someone. Then I heard a gunshot. I ran down, found him on the floor. 3 men were standing over him. One of them looked at me and said, "You're free now." Then they left. Did you recognize any of them? No, I'd never seen them before. Did you hire them to kill your husband? No, sir. I wanted to leave him. I was planning to run away, but I never wanted him dead. Why did you want to leave? Rebecca's voice cracked. Because he beat me, broke my arm twice, locked me in the cellar when I displeased him, threatened to have me committed to an asylum. I was terrified of him. Did you tell anyone about the abuse? I tried, but no one believed me. David was respected, successful. I was just his hysterical wife. Morrison's face hardened. And after he died, you were arrested? Yes, sir. Judge Hartford convinced the marshal I'd hired the killers. He had me arrested within hours. Said I'd murdered his son for the inheritance. Did you receive any inheritance? No, sir. David's will left everything to his father. I received nothing. Then why would Judge Hartford claim you killed for money? Because he wanted custody of my baby, David's child. If I'm convicted of murder or declared mentally unfit, the judge gets custody, gets control of the child's inheritance. Morrison looked at Hartford. Is this true? Hartford stood, his face cold and imperious. Your Honor, this is a desperate woman spinning lies to save her neck. She murdered my son. These men are lying to protect her. Lying. Morrison's voice was sharp. Mr. Keller has nothing to gain by lying. In fact, he's confessing to murder. That takes considerable courage. Or considerable stupidity. Counselor, control your client. Hartford's lawyer pulled him back down. Morrison turned to Grady. Marshal, do you have any other evidence? Yes, sir. A written statement from Margaret Flynn, the Hartford's former housekeeper. She witnessed David Hartford's abuse and heard Judge Hartford discussing the murder with one of the killers. Where is Mrs. Flynn now? Dead, Your Honor. Died 2 days ago. Cancer. Hartford's lawyer smiled. Convenient. A dead witness who can't be cross-examined. Her statement was signed and notarized, Grady said. It's legally binding. Morrison read the statement. His expression grew darker with each line. Finally, he set it down and looked at Hartford. Judge Hartford, I'm issuing a warrant for your arrest on suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder. You'll be held pending a full investigation. Hartford shot to his feet. You have no authority. I have every authority. This is federal land. You're accused of a federal crime. Bailiff, take him into custody. Hartford's lawyers erupted. Your Honor, this is outrageous. What's outrageous is a judge hiring killers to murder his own son. Now sit down before I hold you in contempt. The bailiff moved toward Hartford. The judge backed away his hand, moving to his coat. Ethan saw it before anyone else, saw the glint of metal. Gun! Ethan shouted. Hartford pulled a pistol, aimed it at Rebecca. You've taken everything from me. My son, my reputation, my future. I won't let you take anything else. Ethan threw himself in front of Rebecca. The shot rang out deafening in the enclosed space. Pain exploded in Ethan's shoulder. He went down hard. Lily screamed, "Papa!" The courtroom erupted into chaos. Sam tackled Hartford, drove him to the ground. The pistol skittered across the floor. Grady kicked it away, pulled Hartford's arms behind his back. Rebecca was on the floor beside Ethan, tears streaming down her face. No, 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 Ethan, stay with me. I'm okay, he gasped. The pain was blinding, but he was alive. I'm okay. You're shot. Just my shoulder. I've had worse. You're an idiot. Yeah, but I'm your idiot. She laughed through her sobs, pressed her hand against the wound to stop the bleeding. Judge Morrison was shouting orders. Get a doctor. Someone get a doctor. Sam appeared, helped Ethan sit up. You just can't stay out of trouble, can you? Apparently not. Hartford was screaming as the bailiff dragged him away. She's a murderer. She killed my son. This is a travesty. The only travesty, Morrison said coldly, is that it took this long to expose you. The doctor arrived, a crusty old army surgeon who'd seen worse wounds in his sleep. He examined Ethan's shoulder, grunted. Bullet went clean through. You'll live. Probably hurt like hell for a few weeks, though. Can you patch him up? Rebecca asked. Already doing it. The doctor worked quickly, cleaning and bandaging the wound. Ethan gritted his teeth, didn't make a sound. Lily clung to his good arm, crying silently. You're very brave, Papa, she whispered. Not brave, baby, just stupid. Mama used to say brave and stupid look the same sometimes. She was right. When the doctor finished, Morrison called for order. The courtroom slowly settled. Hartford was gone, locked in a cell. His lawyers had fled. Only the witnesses remained. Mrs. Hartford, Morrison said, in light of the evidence presented and the events of this morning, I'm dismissing all charges against you. You're free to go. Rebecca's legs buckled. Sam caught her before she fell. Furthermore, Morrison continued, I'm issuing an emergency custody order. Any claim Judge Hartford had to your unborn child is hereby revoked. You will retain full custody and all parental rights. Thank you, Rebecca breathed. Thank you. Morrison looked at Ethan. Mr. Cole, you punched a federal judge, broke a prisoner out of jail, and generally caused more chaos than I've seen in 20 years on the bench. Yes, sir. You also saved an innocent woman's life and exposed a murderer. So I'm inclined to overlook your more creative interpretations of the law. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me. Just don't make me regret this. I won't. Morrison banged his gavel. This hearing is adjourned. The courtroom emptied slowly. People stopped to shake Ethan's good hand, to congratulate Rebecca, to stare at the blood on the floor. Within an hour, only Ethan, Rebecca, Lily, Sam, and Grady remained. What happens now? Rebecca asked. Now, Grady said, Hartford goes to trial. Billy Keller testifies. With any luck, Hartford hangs for what he did. And me. You're free, cleared of all charges. She turned to Ethan. We can go home. We can go home. Lily tugged on Rebecca's dress. Does that mean you're staying forever? Rebecca knelt down, pulled the little girl into a hug. Forever and ever. And you're gonna be my mama. If you'll have me, I'll have you. Lily threw her arms around Rebecca's neck. I'll have you forever. The ride back to the ranch took 2 days. Ethan couldn't ride fast with his injured shoulder, so they went slow, stopping often to rest. Rebecca rode beside him, one hand always reaching out to touch him like she needed to make sure he was real. On the second night, they camped under the stars. Lily fell asleep, wrapped in blankets between them. Sam kept watch at the edge of camp, giving them privacy. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up," Rebecca said quietly. "That this is all a dream." "It's real." "I know, but it doesn't feel real. A month ago I was running for my life. Now I'm free. I have a family. I have a home." "You deserve it." "Do I?" "More than anyone I know." She was quiet for a moment. Then, "Ethan, when I said I wanted to marry you, I meant it. But I understand if you've changed your mind. You've done enough. You don't owe me anything more." "I haven't changed my mind." "You haven't." "Rebecca, I've been half dead for 3 years, just going through the motions, pretending to live. Then you showed up broken and scared and pregnant, and you reminded me what it feels like to be alive, to fight for something, to matter. I don't want to go back to being half dead. I want to wake up next to you. I want to raise Lily with you. I want to meet your baby when it comes. I want all of it. Even though I'm a mess. Especially because you're a mess. We can be a mess together." She kissed him, soft and slow and full of promise. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet. "I love you," she said. "I love you too. So when do we get married?" "How about tomorrow?" She laughed. "Tomorrow? Why wait? We've wasted enough time." "What about a dress? A church guests?" "Don't need any of that. Just need you, me, and someone to say the words." "You're serious?" "Dead serious." She looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. "Okay. Tomorrow." They were married the next afternoon in a small church in town. The preacher was half deaf and mostly drunk, but he knew the words. Sam stood as witness. Lily stood between them holding both their hands. Ethan wore his cleanest shirt. Rebecca wore a borrowed dress from the preacher's wife. Neither of them cared. When the preacher said, "You may kiss the bride," Ethan pulled Rebecca close, kissed her like his life depended on it. Lily cheered. Sam smiled. And for the first time in 3 years, Ethan felt whole. They rode back to the ranch as the sun was setting. The cabin looked different somehow, warmer, more like a home. Inside, Rebecca looked around at the simple furniture, the worn rugs, the fireplace that needed cleaning. "It's perfect." "It's a mess. It's ours." Lily ran to her room, came back with the music box. "Can we open Mama Clara's letters now? The ones she wrote for when Papa found someone?" Ethan had forgotten about those. Clara had written letters for this moment, for when he finally moved on. "You sure you want to?" Rebecca asked softly. "Yeah, I'm sure." They sat by the fire. Ethan opened the trunk, found the letter marked, "To the woman who loves my husband." His hands shook as he handed it to Rebecca. She unfolded it carefully, read aloud. "Dear friend, if you're reading this, it means Ethan finally let someone in. Thank God. He's a stubborn man, but a good one. The best I've ever known. Love him well. He deserves it. And please love my daughter as your own. She needs a mother, not to replace me, but to be there for all the moments I'll miss. Thank you for giving them a future. Thank you for being brave enough to love a broken man and a grieving child. You are a gift. All my love, Clara." Rebecca's tears fell onto the paper. Ethan pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. "She would have loved you," he said. "I wish I could have known her." "You do know her. She's in Lily, in this house, in the promise I made. She's part of us." Lily climbed into Rebecca's lap. "Mama Clara sent you to us. She told the angels to find someone brave and kind and strong, and they found you." Rebecca held the little girl tight, one hand on her own belly where her baby grew. "I think you're right." They sat like that for a long time. A family built from broken pieces. A father who'd learned to love again. A daughter who'd found her voice. A mother who'd survived the impossible. Outside, snow began to fall, soft and quiet and clean. Inside, The fire crackled, and 3 hearts that had been shattered found a way to beat as one. 6 months later, Rebecca gave birth to a son. They named him David, after the father he'd never know, but raised him to be nothing like the man who'd caused so much pain. Lily adored her baby brother, sang him the same lullabies Clara had sung to her. Hartford was tried and convicted. The Keller brothers testified. The evidence was overwhelming. He hanged on a cold February morning. Ethan didn't attend. He was home holding his wife, watching his children play, building the life Clara had wanted for him. Sam stayed on at the ranch. Built himself a small cabin on the property, became the Uncle Lily and David needed. He never talked much about his past, but he was present for their future, and that was enough. Marshall Grady retired a year later, moved to the ranch as their nearest neighbor, said he was done with politics and corruption, just wanted to raise horses and live quiet. And Ethan? He woke every morning beside Rebecca, watched her braid Lily's hair, listened to baby David giggle, and thanked God for the storm that had brought them together. Some people said he was lucky, that he'd found love twice in one lifetime. But Ethan knew better. Luck was finding a woman half frozen in the snow and choosing to stop. Luck was standing up to a corrupt judge when everyone said he'd lose. Luck was taking a bullet for someone you loved. No, this wasn't luck. This was choice. Every single day, choosing to be brave, choosing to fight, choosing love over fear. And in the end, that choice had saved them all. On quiet nights when the children were asleep and the ranch was still, Ethan would sit on the porch with Rebecca. She'd rest her head on his good shoulder, and he'd hold her close, and they'd watch the stars come out over the Wyoming plains. "You ever regret it?" she'd ask sometimes. "Everything you risked for me?" "Never," he'd say, "not for a second." "Even when you got shot?" "Especially then." She'd laugh, that beautiful sound that still made his heart skip. "You're crazy." "Yeah, but I'm your crazy. Forever. Forever." And he meant it. Because sometimes the bravest thing a man can do is open his heart to a stranger in a storm. Sometimes salvation comes not from angels, but from broken people choosing to save each other. Sometimes the family you build is stronger than the one you lost. Ethan had learned that the hard way, but he'd learned it true. And every morning when he woke beside Rebecca, every time Lily called her mama, every time David laughed in his arms, he knew one thing with absolute certainty. Love wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present, about showing up even when you're scared, about fighting for the people who matter, no matter the cost. Clara had asked him to find someone kind, someone brave, someone who'd make him whole again. He'd found all that and more. He'd found home.